What's up, guys? I hope your day is going awesome so far. I've been having a conversation lately. That is whether it's smarter to buy or lease a car. The answer to that question varies based on whatever your wants and needs are. So today, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of buying and leasing vehicles. So before we get started, I want to announce a new giveaway we're going to be having. When we hit 5,000 subscribers, I'll be giving away a free GoPro to a random subscriber. All you need to do to be entered to win is hit the subscribe button and hit the bell next to the subscribe button to get notifications every time I release a new video. So first we're going to talk about leasing and the pros and cons of it. There's often a lot of confusion about leasing, and that's because the payments are always lower than comparing to buying a car. The reason why the payments are so much lower is because you're paying off the depreciation of the car on a lease. What that means is there's going to be a predetermined residual value, and that residual value is whatever your car is estimated to be worth at the end of the lease term. Typically, a standard lease is a 3-year lease term. If you're getting a $30,000 car, they may estimate that the car will be worth 55% at the end of the lease, which will come out to about $16,000 or $17,000 residual value. So the difference between the $30,000 and the $17,000 would be $13,000 that you are going to be paying over the course of 3 years of owning the car. That's typically an easy way to figure out what your payments are going to be, minus a few fees and taxes. And on the subject of taxes, your tax payments are going to be a lot lower on a lease in comparison to financing, because you're only paying a $13,000 loan in comparison to a $30,000 loan. So you'll also save money there. Another benefit to leasing a car is the transfer of vehicles once you're done with the lease. When you own a car, you have to assume the responsibility of selling or trading in the vehicle whenever you want to get rid of it. And when your lease term is up, you simply go back to the dealership, return your car, and you can go on your way and get a new car from anywhere else. Also with leasing, you don't ever have to worry about expensive running costs and maintenance costs, because you're getting a new car and new cars come with warranties. And the term of the lease typically coincides with the term of your warranty on the car. So if you lease a car for 12,000 miles a year for 3 years, that typically runs well below whatever your warranty terms are of something like 50,000 miles for 4 years. And because of that, your maintenance and running costs of the car are virtually nothing. With a lease, your payments are typically a lot lower than when you're financing the same car, and the reason is because you're only paying off the depreciation. Because the payments are so much lower than financing a car, that typically means you're able to get a much nicer car for a lot less money. Now, some drawbacks of leasing a car is that you don't actually own the vehicle. When the lease term is up, you turn in the car and you don't own anything. We spoke about the residual value earlier in the video, and that residual value is the price you're allowed to pay with an option to buy it at the end of the lease if you choose to do so. Another drawback is that you're limited to mileage on the vehicle. If your lease term says that you're allowed 12,000 miles a year, you have to stay within that 12,000 mile range. And if you go over, there's typically a per mileage penalty that's associated with those overage miles. For instance, on this car, my per mileage overage fee is 30 cents per mile. So if I were to go over 1,000 miles, I would have to pay $300 when I turn in the car at the end of the lease. Because you never own a car, that typically means that you're spending more money in the long run on a lease than you are when you finance a car and own it past the terms of your finance. So if you were to finance a car and pay it off in 4 years but keep it for 7 years, you essentially saved on 3 years of monthly payments. You could also face some excessive wear and tear fees at the end of the lease when you turn it in that could blindside you. Sometimes they could really rack up and become extremely expensive. Now, if you're someone that likes to get in and out of a car every year, year and a half, leasing is probably not for you, because there's a lot of fees and termination contingencies with a leased car versus owning a car and selling at any time. Moving on to buying a car, there are a lot of pros to that as well. And one of those pros comes if you plan on keeping your car for a long period of time, more than 3 or 4 years. When you buy a car and keep it for the long term, you'll save a lot of money over buying a car and flipping it often, or even leasing a car. Because you own the car, you don't have an excess mileage charge or a limit on how many miles you could drive. So you could drive the car as much as you want, and you won't have any limit on those miles. You'll only have to take into account the depreciation of the vehicle. You'll also have a lot more flexibility when you want to get out of the car, because you own it and you could sell it at any time. versus with leasing, you have to keep the car for the entire term of the lease. And lastly, if you have equity in the car and the car is worth more than you owe on your financing, you could use that car on a trade-in for a new car as a down payment, and you won't have to come out of pocket, or you could essentially save money on your new car. One of the cons of buying is the down payments that you have to put down. Those are typically anywhere from 10 to 20% minimum. So if you're buying a $20,000 car and you have to put 20% down, you have to come out of pocket with $4,000. Not many people have $4,000 sitting around that they can just put money down on a car. In that case, leasing a car could be better because you don't have to put any money down in a lot of cases. And if you qualify for a loan with no down payment, you have to be very careful because you run the risk of being upside down on your car, meaning you'll owe more on your financing than the car is worth. And at the end of the ownership of your car, when you get rid of it, and if you're still within your financing terms, you may have to pay in order to get out of your car. Also, your monthly payments are going to be a lot more than when you lease a car. If you're getting that same $30,000 car, your lease payments may be $250 a month, but when you finance the car, depending on your terms, they could be up to $450 a month for that same vehicle. If you plan on keeping the car for a long period of time, you're going to be running the car outside of the warranty. When you do that, you're going to have to take into account all of the running costs and repair costs, which could add up very quickly if things go wrong on your vehicle. You also face possible trade-in or selling hassles when you want to get a new car. And lastly, you're investing in a depreciating asset, which is never smart. Cars go down in value, so you're taking your liquid assets and you're investing it into a depreciating asset, which is your car. That is usually not what financial advisors tell you to do. In that case, paying lower monthly payments on that same car and leasing the car and not having to run the risk of paying for high repair costs and high running costs and higher monthly payments and being upside down on a car, those are all things that you want to try to avoid. So in that case, leasing may be better. Depending on what your needs are, leasing or buying may be the right decision for you. I hope this video was extremely helpful for you. If you have any questions, please leave a comment in the comment section below. I want to leave you guys with a question, and I want to hear what your feedback is. And that is, do you guys prefer leasing or buying cars, and why? If you enjoyed this video, please smash the like button, leave a comment in the comment section below, and please subscribe to the channel for more awesome content coming your way. Until the next video, take care.